I'm sorry. What's up, man?
We good? I apologize, keeping everybody waiting. You could have, listen, you could have brought those two up. Have y'all gone yet? Have y'all talked?
Recording in progress.
I'm not. They're the show. Hey, good afternoon. Excited to be here, right? Bowl press conference as we now take on our bowl season. So I will just stop there and just tell you how excited I am about the opportunity in front of our program, and looking forward to head into Fort Worth January 2nd with our team. And we've only had a few of these bowl prep practices already, but I love our energy. I love what we're bringing out on the practice field. And with that, I'll just kind of turn it over to you guys. What questions you have?
I guess we'll start from your perspective. What's been the most beneficial thing that you've seen in these extra practices so far?
Well, I think kind of two parts. I think the first, you got time, right? We being January 2nd, that's a late bowl game. So that afforded us some time. So that afforded us to create a schedule that hopefully makes sense for our players. They're going to get some time at home with their families. It doesn't feel like it's a sprint race right now. And because of that, you can build some schedules that make sense maybe for some younger players that maybe haven't had a ton of reps throughout the year because you just don't have time for it, and trying to catch some of those young guys up. So I love that. I think that's really important. And then it gives you a chance to take a look at things you knew you were going to do once you got to spring football, right? Especially in year one. Right? There's so much to be learned from this season, so many takeaways, and you just take notes all year. And some of the notes you take, you're like, yeah, we got to dive back into that when spring football comes. We got to take a harder look there. Now that we have some extra time, some of those things we're able to look right now in real time as we head into our bowl game. And to me, that's incredibly beneficial. Getting the extra work in, keeping your players together, right? Another month longer. And, I think we have great leadership on this team. And so the longer these younger players can be around some of our older players, I just think it makes them better.
No, there's still time, but Texas State, what do they show? Like, what are the strengths of Texas State, and what kind of challenge are they?
Well, I think the big picture is they're incredibly athletic and they're well coached. Been explosive on offense all year, and so we've probably spent this first week more about the Owls, right? Focusing on us, whether it's adjustments or improvements or growth. We've started all the breakdowns, and there's been some Texas State prep for our guys, but for the most part, these early ones have been more about us. And as we dive more into them, we understand these things, that they're incredibly athletic. They run really well on both sides of the football, and they're an aggressive team on both sides. Offensively, they're going to take some shots. Defensively, I think there's been some changes probably on their defensive staff with what I read. So there's a lot of uncertainty there. What I have on film is an aggressive defense that moves and stunts and stems and comes from a lot of directions. But yeah, I don't know if we'll see that, since there's been some changes.
And again, I know a couple weeks, but do you have an idea how you'll address the guys that are in the portal and who could play and could not play, or what's your general philosophy?
Well, I think we've worked through most of that right now, right? So, right as it sits now, we have a roster of 93 heading to our bowl game, which I'm incredibly proud of, right? We finished the season at 103, right? We were down from 105, with two young men that are no longer with the program for different reasons. And and some of those 10 that aren't a part of the count now, some of those are fifth-year guys who, they're at the end of their careers, and they're graduated, and they're like, they're starting their real life, and they've chosen that their football careers are over. And then there are a handful of guys that have made announcements to go into the portal, and those guys are not participating in the game at this point. And I don't anticipate that changing.
Coach, guys have had a chance to rest. I was just talking a minute ago about that. And so their bodies obviously are ready. You got 93 just set on the roster. Everybody healthy, feeling good.
Yeah, I think we're really healthy. Now the goal is to stay there. That is a concern for a head coach that I'm talking a lot with our staff about is how do we get meaningful work in and stay healthy in these 2-3 week window? Because, the more time you give coaches, the more they want to work. There's a grind mentality that we don't want a part of this bowl season. And so I think it's up to us to make sure we're managing that. So I love that. I do think we're healthy, and I anticipate that staying that way and look forward to taking a healthy team, right, to Fort Worth. I think that's really important. And an excited team, right? I said at the end of practice today, I've watched some early bowl games, and one thing that jumps off to me is, there's teams that look like they're excited to play in their bowls, and there are teams that not. And Rice will be a team that's excited to play in their bowl game. That I'm guaranteeing, right? I've challenged our guys that way, and they know that, and they know my mentality behind that. And I'm looking forward to it.
We talked during the season about young guys during off weeks getting looks at guys. Has anybody so far jumped out in practices that maybe during the season are learning about some of those younger players?
Ooh, I think you're poking at me. I don't know if I can give you that answer right now, but I like the question. I think I probably won't give you anything overly specific. I would say that, you saw a couple young, maybe defensive linemen playing a little more at the end of the year, right? So a chance to catch them up. I also think that there probably there'll be some younger, maybe skill guys offensively that you'll see show up in the perimeter game that maybe been waiting for their opportunity, or this is the moment now they get some extra prep. And so, without mentioning any specific names, I think those are probably some areas you can look at to maybe see some new name calls or some new numbers show up.
I'm curious, we talked about all the young players and this being a pre-spring.
Yeah.
Does a bowl game, in your mindset as a coach, does it fit more? Is it really the end of this season, or is it kind of the kicking off of what's next?
Oh, I think it's a combination. Okay, so and I mean that. I think it's a true combination. The opportunity to cap 2025 with a group that came together, right, in a transition, and bought into a culture and said we want to be better and put the program in a position to get to a bowl game. And so, what an exciting time to be able to put a mark at the end of this year to leave a legacy of saying, hey, our group got the first bowl victory in over a decade here, right? But at the same time, I've challenged the older guys, hey, help this younger group, right, set the tone for what they want the future to look like, right? So it is really a combo balancing act. I see it probably less about spring football, right? I see it as, man, opportunity to really compete and grow the program and take the step to playing our best football, which, roller coaster ride at times this year, right? A lot of ups and downs, a lot of things we're proud of in the season, and then moments that you kind of shake your head at. And so this is an opportunity to kind of bring it all together, play our best football, and take that momentum, not just to wrap up one season, but hopefully take it into the next season.
Coach, you just talked about opportunity, and I know you might not be able to answer this question, but I'm going to ask you anyway in regards to plays. I think we started to see a little bit, a few more plays towards the end of the season that you had run earlier in the season. So the team was really starting to grasp the concepts that you wanted in regards to play calling and what have you. Might this be an opportunity for that to happen?
Oh, I think, yes, holistically. I think the opportunity to continue to grow schematically, right? I think, I was excited about our growth at one point, as we entered the season. Then it kind of, as you really get to playing competitive games, you kind of slow and you pull the curtain back and said, we're not ready for that. And then we accelerated again during a bye week. And so, when you're in year one, and especially when you're trying to execute an offense that none of these players have executed before, or defensive schemes, the opportunity now to maybe develop a little more now that you know more about your roster. Right. So here we are, right? You know a little more about your roster, and now you have a little more time maybe for us to implement and grow in some of those areas. So we'll see. I would suspect, it's not always clear to the naked eye though, right? Where things show up or what we're attacking, how we're attacking it, either side of the football. But it does give us that opportunity, and that I'm excited about. Nobody online. Listen, appreciate people showing up. And y'all been here all day. I love it. Go Owls. Thank you. You want me to introduce Ty? What's going on? Ty, come on up. Junior linebacker, number 3, Ty Moore. Come on.
I was about to ask Coach this question about you, so I'll ask you just what does it mean being in this grind the whole season, but the surprise of getting a bowl, was it, and the reward, I guess, also getting to play a bowl?
Yeah, obviously it wasn't a goal to get in a ball game like this, but I mean, it's just another great opportunity to play with this group of guys that we won't have ever again. So one more opportunity, one more month to grind together in the weight room on practice and pursuit drill day to day. I mean, it's just awesome to get one more game with the guys, and that's it.
And then we talked about some of your big games as a defense coming off those bye weeks. How much did y'all need, as much as you want to play again, but 3 or 4 weeks off to get back to where y'all started the year?
I mean, it's good to recover the body, get healthy. Guys that were beat up, I mean, it's awesome to get back out here. But I know me, and I'm pretty sure a lot of guys on the defense, we're itching to get back out there. We got a bad taste in our mouth from USF. We would like to get back to Texas State.
Well, let's talk about Texas State. I'm trying to remember if you were here when you played against them.
Yeah.
We'll talk about that. I mean, what does this opportunity present in regards to facing them?
I mean, it's awesome. I mean, playing against them freshman year, they came out, they had the edge over us coming in from freshman year to this year, but it's going to be totally different this year. So we got a chip on our shoulder, wanted to get that win back in January 2nd. So, yeah.
So you're off for a little bit, right? And then all of a sudden you get the phone call or the text message or the email or the announcement, whatever.
Yeah.
And so what was your response when that
Let's go. I'm ready to play. Let's go. I mean, it was always like we was always checking X. Like they said, we always had like a possibility to like play, but it's just figuring out like who our opponent would be. So I always had my mindset like, let's go get this one more game. So yeah.
Like you said earlier, the season didn't end the way you wanted it to, but you see those first 9-10 games.
Yeah.
How would you describe the growth of the defense and
Yeah.
your position group and whatnot?
I feel like the growth was good. Like we had our ups and downs, obviously, but we've been through a lot as a whole defense, whether it's one position group, once somebody going down, the next man stepping up, young guys stepping up, as Coach Abell mentioned, we had a couple freshman D-liners stepping up doing their thing. So that's just the one thing that I've seen a lot with the growth over the season.
And then what's your perspective playing with a guy like Andrew Awe, who's I think he's out of eligibility last game. And then all those young guys you mentioned getting their first postseason opportunity.
Yeah, I
mean, how do you balance that?
It's awesome. We get to play one more game with 3-0. So that's one thing that's been just me thinking about. Like, yeah, we're gonna show why we're the two best linebackers, and we're gonna show it on January 2nd. So it's awesome.
Thank you, sir. Appreciate it. Q Jack.
All right, Q, I know we talked a lot this year about sticking with the program through a change and everything that went into the new offense this year. Kind of what was your reaction when you found out Rice was bowling and they all had done that year one?
I was very excited, coming in. That was a goal we had, was to make a bowl game. And then this goal we want to make it this year is to win the bowl game. I've been a part of the two bowl games we have in recent history here. And, that was an exciting trip, but I've been on the other side of the field when we walking in the locker room with defeat and, heartbreak and going into emotion. So, it was exciting. I was in church when I found out, and I was elated, just trying to be quiet as I can be, but I was elated. But, it was a goal coming into the season. We're excited we get to play one more game for the 2025 Rice House.
What's the dynamic of having so much time off? You mentioned the health, but from a mentality standpoint too, is that a refresher? I don't want to answer for it. Is that refreshing too?
It's a little bit of both, because you watch the bowl games, leading up to your game, you eager to go out there and play. But it's a good thing to get some rest, and it's a extra possibility to watch some film. Get an extra film, get a beat on those guys. It's just looking at it like going from fall camp into week one. So like a whole month ahead. So I'm looking at it like how we looked at it going into the Louisiana week. We got that whole break going up to it. So watching extra film, trying to get some tendencies on the guys, but resting our bodies. But I think the break is a good thing for us.
Yeah, but you took some licks, you delivered some licks. So talk about that, being able to get your body ready for this bowl game. And then you said you were in church when you got the message. Where were you? Were you in Houston or Fort Worth?
When I got the message, I was in Fort Worth, actually, seeing family just for a little bit because I knew the possibility. I was going to go up there for a weekend, get a little refresher. So I was in Fort Worth, but can you repeat your first question again? I'm sorry. Repeat it.
Sure. It's about you delivered some licks, but you also took some licks. So you had to get your body right. And then all of a sudden, you're getting ready for this bowl game. How much preparation have you had to be able to sort of relax and bring it down?
It was a little mixture. I kind of knew we had the possibility to still make it. There's been rumors that some teams are going to drop out. So I took a few days of rest, get my body back right. But other than that, I was still working, still preparing, like the season was still ahead of us. And, we got that call, we got that text Saturday. I seen some teams drop out and I was like, this is our shot. This is our shot. So we knew it was coming, and I couldn't be more happier to go out there with my brothers one more game. It didn't end the way we wanted to. We didn't get in the bowl game the way we wanted to, but we still have the opportunity to go win a bowl game. Coach Abell preached about this could be the first time a Rice football team wins a bowl game since 2014. That's a long time. I think I was in elementary school or middle school. I can't remember. So, it'll be fun to go out there with this Rice team. Set a standard for next year. Just a building block that we can set.
As one of the leaders on the offense, have you seen the offense improve throughout the season? I know obviously the points weren't always there, but as one of the guys who's touching the ball the most, where have you seen it ebb and flow throughout the season?
It's going to be ups and downs during the season. Everything is not going to hit. Everything is not going to be perfect. But I think we stayed consistent and we trusted the journey that, we're going to go approach on. And, I think we've grown confidently every day, trusting the offense. There's one thing to go out there and run an offense, but when you go out there and trust the scheme, trust your teammates, you trust your O-line, trust your brothers that they're going to do the job. And I think that's what the key difference from us going from week one all the way to, where we are now. I think everybody's trusting it. We're trusting our coaches, trusting our assignment, trusting our preparation. So I think we're just going in, we just grown confidently, just running this offense and just having that whole trust as a brotherhood.
And then I don't think Coach is in the room. But from your perspective, a bunch of young guys getting reps this week, this past month. Anybody in particular that's kind of stood out and flashed? You're like, this guy, maybe not January 2nd, but next year.
Yeah. I'm gonna be like Coach. I can't say a certain name, but I think everybody's out there working, trying to put their best foot forward. The slot room is working, the running back room working. The running back room been getting a lot of touches in the season, but they're still out there working. The slot room, the receivers. Coach mentioned the D-line going out there and working, playing USF, and the linebacker court and the safeties. Everybody out there is working to have their moment. I fortunately had my moment in the bowl game a few years ago, so you never know when your number's going to get called, and I can see those guys working every day for when their moment is called and their number is called, they're going to be ready for the moment.
All right, I have one for you. One of the big differences now, school's over. What did you learn going through a bowl process the first time, and what are the things that you would tell the freshmen who their whole schedule with games and everything is included all the time for school? Now they have all this extra time. I mean, what did you learn how to handle that, and what do you pass on?
You have so much time on your hands, you really don't know what to do. When you out your routine, it's kind of different. It's kind of difficult, but I would try to tell them, enjoy the rest. Enjoy, because you don't know when you're going to have the opportunity again, but also have a balance between football and enjoying your rest. So maybe go find a way to go connect with your teammates outside of the building. Last year, Christian Francisco, former other teammates we used to have, EJ and Dean, we used to go to escape room and try to do something competitive, go to escape room where we go play some darts. So just find a way to how to balance, football and having some time off.
This one a little special. coming back to Fort Worth?
Yeah, it's exciting. First game back in Fort Worth in a long time. It's going to be a lot of friends and family there. Grew up a TCU fan, so getting to play in that stadium is a dream come true and a full circle moment. I know my dad had the opportunity to do the coin toss there in the Armed Forces Bowl. I believe in 2008 around there. So it's a full circle moment for me, and I'm just grateful to go back home. I know when the opportunity there was projections we had the Armed Forces Bowls. I was excited because I just wanted to go back home, play in front of friends and family that haven't got to see me play in college yet. So it's very exciting to come back home.
How many games you go to growing up?
I didn't really go to a lot. I had some friends from Alito that used to go to the game. So, I used to go with them. But, me and my family used to watch it on TV. Like every Saturday we were right in front of that TV watching, grew up watching Aaron Green and Trayvon Boykin and Jahan Dotson, all of them. So, we were really into the TCU game. So it's a great feeling to go back and play on that field. I do not remember, actually. They said I was a little kid. So whoever played in 08, 09, around that time, I'll ask them when I get the chance to, but I can't remember.
Thank you, sir.
Yes, sir. Thank y'all.
Yes, sir. Yeah, we're gonna stop this. I was a little kid in 09.
I was. No comment.
Houston was playing Air Force. December 31st of 08.
So that was